Good morning, everybody. Happy day 7 of the Pantry Challenge. I cannot even believe it. A week flew by. Thank you guys so much for the get well wishes. Not sure really what happened with me yesterday. I might be catching the kids cold because I am a little stuffy and a little bit of a cough going on. I was just very achy and I just could not get out of bed. It was like I'd been hit by a truck and I just was exhausted, and there was just no getting out of bed. I couldn't even make myself. And I know it wasn't shot related because my shot actually happened this morning. So tomorrow, if I'm exhausted, I know that's shot related, but I think I might be getting their cold. Anyway, today we're going to make some biscuits and gravy this morning because that's just what I'm feeling like. Some biscuits and gravy. It's a chilly morning. We should be warming up a little bit here the rest of the week, which is nice because my laundry does not dry very good in this freezing cold weather. And thank you guys so much for watching the video Charles did for you guys. He puts a lot of work into that, and so thank you so much. It also helps to support us, and it lets us allow you to see what's going on here on our farm with our animals and what's going on. So he showed multiple days, and so you saw me out there a little bit getting herbs and stuff the other day when I was gathering all the herbs before the big frost came, and you know, just different things going on. So let's just get started, I guess, on some breakfast. I'm not going to do a lot of canning today. I was going to start the canning actually yesterday was my plan to do all the jalapenos. I'm going to do that I think tomorrow. Brooke is on her way home. She's coming home to spend the weekend with me. She doesn't even have to work. We're just going to cuddle up and watch fall movies and do all the fall fun stuff. And Ronnie is off tonight. So the only one, Kate will be at work and Ash has military stuff going on. So we're just gonna cuddle up and watch movies. So I'm not gonna worry about canning anything today. I'll work on that tomorrow morning. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some biscuits. Let me show you. This is where I get my biscuits from. I've shown this book so many times. This is like my holy grail of cooking from scratch. It is my 1950s cookbook, and it is falling apart. My daughter Kate got me this. I don't even remember how many years ago now it's been. Probably 7-ish years or something like that, and it quickly became my favorite. It is different. The recipes are different than the more up-to-date versions, even than the 60s and the 70s version. Somebody asked if I have an Amazon storefront. I don't, but I need to get that together for you guys so you can just quickly find something like this, or you know, some of my favorite things that I say, like my vanilla bean powder and stuff like that, that I tell you guys get it, or my Korean peppers that I love so much. But if you can find this, you can usually find it on eBay or something. I mean, they're out there. It is definitely, if you're new to cooking from scratch, this is just the holy grail. It's where I get my pancakes, my not muffins. I do not enjoy their muffins. But I do pancakes, waffles, breads. All of it comes from this. It's my ketchup recipe that I love so much. Really a lot of them. Don't care for their salads much, but you know, that's all right. But it has just so many good recipes. So today we're gonna make our biscuits. Other thing I love for making biscuits, not mandatory, but I love cast iron. Cast iron, I think, makes the best biscuits. So I'm gonna pop this in my oven at 450 degrees. I'll drop it down to 400, but I'm gonna go on and heat it at 450. So it just gets really super hot while I'm making this biscuits up real quick. So the main secret to biscuits is, if you don't know, you're not gonna wanna mess with it a whole lot. You wanna hands off as much as possible. You want your butter or your lard cold. I like to mix half and half. And you don't want to knead it out too much. Also, when you go and you put down your biscuit cutter, whatever you use, my grandma used to just use a glass. You use your biscuit cutter, you pull it straight up. Don't twist, or you're going to seal the edges, and then your biscuits won't rise and get all nice and fluffy. You want to just lift. Also, I like to put butter in the bottom of my my cast iron skillet, and then when they come out, we'll brush butter on top. The other thing I like to do, which you'll see as we make it, is I fold it over a few times, roll it out, fold it, roll it out, and I'll show you. That puts all the little layers in it. But again, you want to do it as little as possible. We don't over mix. It just takes some playing with it, but to keep them flaky and not tough, just like a pie crust. You don't want to over handle it. All right, so let's start. So if you are following along with me, I like to do the standard biscuits. It's just flour, baking powder, salt, shortening, which we're going to do butter and lard, and milk. Now, I don't really measure all this because I've been doing it forever, but this that has the measurements for you if you want it. It also has a buttermilk recipe as well. However, I would say that buttermilk then was real buttermilk, and real buttermilk is not really like store-bought buttermilk. It's not very thick. It's actually the byproduct of making butter, and it's actually very watery, a lot like whey is. It's just very watery. So I don't think that they used a thickened up buttermilk back then, but I could be wrong, but I don't think so. The other thing I do is I do sift my ingredients when making biscuits. You want to sift them. It just makes it light and fluffy and keeps any lumps from, you know, being in it. Sifters are not expensive at all. You can get these very cheap. You probably even find them at Goodwill. I'm going to start with 2 cups of flour. I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Oh, there's a little extra. I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Maybe just a pinch more. All right, that's it for our dry ingredients. We're going to just sift this together real quick. If you don't have a sifter like this, you can also just put it through like a fine mesh strainer and just kind of bang it on your bowl, and that works as a sifter as well. Then I'm going to start using my lard and my butter. I like to just cut it in with my hands. You can use a pastry cutter if you want. I feel like lard makes it very flaky. I definitely use more butter probably than the recipes call for, and more fat. I just like them really buttery rolls and buttery biscuits. You can freeze it and grate it. A lot of people do all of that. I just think that's unnecessary. I've tried doing that before. It's very hard to grate, and it's just so much work, and this does just fine. And it doesn't need to be frozen. I think that just overcomplicates things. You can do all butter. You do not have to use lard. This is just what I prefer. I think lard gives it a very flaky texture, and so I like to use some lard in it. But again, you don't have to. You could just use all butter. You could use all lard. All right, then I'm just gonna go in with my hands and break it down. The lard is very easy to break in. If you're using a pastry cutter, you just wanna get it mixed in until it's like pea-size bits of lard or butter. Sometimes though, I leave my butter even a little bigger than that. And then I just squished my butter a little bit with my hands. Once we add the milk, that's when it matters about overmixing. But definitely leave some chunks of the fat. You want to see some butter chunks in there. So you don't want huge chunks, but you don't want it all completely mixed in either. You want some pretty butter going on in there. And you'll see when we roll it out. All right. Now for gravy, I didn't fry up any bacon or anything. I'm just going to use bacon grease that I have from the other day. When I'd fried up bacon, I forget what we made the other day. I made it with you guys, but I fried up bacon. That's what I'm going to use, the grease from that. Then the recipe calls for 2/3 to 3/4 cup of milk. I'm just gonna pour some in. I like to just stir with my hand. When it starts to come together some, it's good. I think just a little bit more because you're gonna add a little flour down. That's good. Because you're gonna add a little bit of flour down when you roll it. So that should be good. Again, did you see I handled it as little as I could. There's still some dry spots in here and that's okay. I just want to keep handling as little as possible. I know biscuits are tricky and intimidating for a lot of people. I'm gonna sprinkle down some flour and I'm just gonna dump it here. And then I'm gonna bring it together. And then I'm going to start rolling. Now here is where we're going to add our layers, which we want to add. So I'm going to add a little bit of flour because I'm sticking. Okay, so now I'm going to do this about 3 times, okay? So there's one, I just kind of rolled it a little bit. Again, this is just going to get like good flaky layers. Could have maybe had a little bit more milk, but it's okay. Too much milk is going to make them tough as well. And this will be the 3rd time. And then the next time I'm just going to roll it out. All right, now I'm just going to roll it out and cut my biscuits. So if you guys can see that, there is flakes of butter throughout. You want flakes of butter. That's a good thing. And you want to have to roll it out as few times as possible. And then you can make your biscuits as big or as little as you want. I'm going with just kind of medium-sized biscuits. Again, push down, pull up. If you leave it fluffier, you know, thicker, your biscuits, then you'll have, you know, fatter biscuits. But like you can really see in this one, can you see all the layers? That's what you want. Alright, and then the leftover biscuits, I'm just gonna do a fast roll. And then this last one, I'm just gonna pour them into my own little biscuit. All right, that's it. Now we're gonna go get our pan out. Okay, I'm also gonna drop my heat down to 425. Set it there. Oops. All right. I'm gonna add a good little chunk of butter here. And get that all in here. Then I'm just gonna add my biscuits. The handmade one is wanting to fall apart a little bit. That's all right. As it bakes, it should come together. All right, now this is gonna go in the oven at 425, and let me see, I will tell you it says it bakes 12 to 15 minutes, and that's probably pretty accurate. So while those are baking, I'm gonna melt a little bit of butter in a dish so I can top it with some melted butter as soon as they come out. Now we also need to get our gravy started. Okay, so for the gravy, we're just gonna heat up some bacon grease. I got some just sitting here. I don't know about you, but I grew up on bacon gravy. Maybe some of you have never grown up on that. My grandmother, that was what she made, always biscuits and gravy. It was never sausage gravy, it was always bacon gravy. If you've never had it, it's delicious. If you just fried up some bacon, which is how my grandmother always did it, then you would have the grease from frying up the bacon. Alright, we're going to just keep letting this get good and hot. I just got done melting my butter as well, for as soon as these biscuits are ready to come out. I have milk standing next to me, or sitting next to me. I have flour, which I got to refill my flour bucket, sitting next to me, because we are going to kind of move a little bit fast as soon as all this gets going. Alright, now that this is heating up, I'm going to put in some flour. Now I want to cook this flour a little bit. I'm making quite a bit of gravy. It's alright. I want to cook this flour a little bit because I don't want it to taste like flour. So I'm going to just let this cook in here. I don't like to add so much flour that it becomes like a big clump of flour. Or so much, you know, yeah. I said it right. Bear with me in case my brain is not on all throttles. Alright. Let that cook for a second. It's also where I'm going to start adding some salt and butter. I like to add, salt and pepper. I like to add a lot of pepper. This is one you got to try a few times to make sure you get your salt right. This gravy does definitely take a good amount of salt. Alright, let's get this stirred up. A little bit more. I don't want to burn my flour for sure, but I don't want it to taste like flour. I want it to taste like bacon. It's probably good enough. So now I'm going to start adding my milk. Start with about that much. Stir all that flour and stuff in. If it's too thick, we just add more milk. But you want to do your milk slowly because you can't really add more flour. You just got to let it cook down if you get it too thin, because the flour then is going to not be cooked through and taste like flour. So once you get that all good and stirred in, you're just going to let this come back up to a boil. And give it a minute. I'm going to check our biscuits. They're rising so beautifully. Starting to get some bubbles. I really need to get a smaller dish. I either have great big dishes or teeny tiny. I need a medium size. I think I'm gonna ask for that for my birthday. Boil, it'll start to thicken up. I anticipate adding more milk. And then we always had fried eggs with our gravy and biscuits. Fried eggs, butter with honey or molasses, some homemade gravy or some homemade jam. I'm gonna add a little bit more milk here. So I don't really have measurements for the gravy because it all just depends on how much grease you get and you're using, how much flour. I can just show you how it should look. When Grandma would call and say, people come over for a big breakfast, this is what it always was. And of course we had the bacon as well. But she had an electric skillet. And she always had the gravy going in the electric skillet after she made the bacon. Then we still have some apple cider. So we'll probably just have that. Or actually I might say that tonight because I think we're going to watch Hocus Pocus tonight. So I think I'll heat the apple cider back up and we'll have that with Hocus Pocus. So I got to make some kind of treat today to go with movie time. Alright, so now is when you're going to want to give it a little taste. And make sure you don't need any more salt or pepper. Tasting very good. A little more salt and a little more pepper. And do one more tiny bit of milk and then I'll be done. I don't want this to taste like milk either, so I'm going to let this just cook for a little bit. I'm going to turn my heat down to like a medium. And let this just cook while we make our eggs. Get our biscuits out. Perfect timing now. Our biscuits are done. So I'm going to get those out. And I got my butter ready. Start putting it all over the top of my biscuits. Alright, and just keep stirring my gravy. And then I'm going to do 4 fried eggs and then I'll do just a real quick scramble. And get this heating up. I like to fry my eggs in butter. You could use bacon grease as well. In fact, there's even just a drop of bacon grease on here. And let that get good and melty. I'm also going to go up and put my tea kettle on. So we've got tea. I'm going to turn this heat down a little bit more on my gravy. her. Stir my gravy. And then to go with our biscuits and gravy right now, the family has 3 jams out right now. We mix a lot of jam too, though, with yogurt. Charles likes it like that. So I have a raspberry, a peach, and a strawberry jam out. So I'm gonna set those out to go with the biscuits. Woo! Good Lord of mercy. Danger of fresh eggs, friends. They do like to pop. That was a big one. Store-bought eggs, don't do that so much. Fresh eggs, love to do it. My word. Alright, so I'll show you how I make mine. I got my fried eggs. And look at the layers in the biscuits. They're so beautiful. They're so delicious. And then I'm going to spoon gravy on it. And then the way I grew up, not sure if you guys grew up, but you put the gravy over your eggs as well. And then you got to save 1 biscuit. I don't know that I'll be able to eat that much, but maybe I'll just do half of all of it. 1 on the side with a little bit of butter, and my favorite of all jams is raspberry. So you gotta put a little raspberry jam on there as well. And now, my very sad teapot is trying to whistle at me. So now I need to make some tea. Alright, and then for my tea, I am just gonna do your basic black tea. Nothing fancy. No black tea, and I'll add a little bit of sugar. Alright, we're gonna be your taste testers.
Alright, what do you want to try first?
Biscuits and gravy, man.
Works for me. Mmm.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Mm-hmm. So how are your biscuits?
They are very kind of buttery, tender, flaky. Overall, they're perfect. Again, 1 thumbs up because I'm not letting go of my plate.
So we're gonna have a little bit with the jam.
That's awesome.
They're so good. Alright, we're gonna go eat. Okay, so real quick, it's actually 3 o'clock. So I was gonna make homemade pizza and brownies and stuff. We'll see what happens because it's only 3, but everybody's getting hungry now. Nobody was hungry from a big breakfast, but now we're starting to. So I have these tortillas that I need to use up. Don't honestly even know where they came from, and they have not expired yet, which is good. So I'm gonna pop some of these in the oven real quick and get them just to cook a little bit while we take some ground pork that I have in the fridge, turn that into some taco meat. I don't have any lettuce right now, so we're gonna just do taco meat, cheese, and cut up some of the fresh tomatoes, pop them on here, and yeah, top it with a little bit of yogurt instead of sour cream. I am trying to make my own sour cream. If that turns out well, I'll share that with you guys. I'm trying to make my own cottage cheese and sour cream. I haven't done it before, so if it turns out good, I'll share with you guys how I'm doing it. But let me get these in the oven. Okay. I'm trying to get this done before Kate goes to work as well. And then we'll probably end up making the pizza tonight. And we gotta make brownies yet, because I wanna make brownies to go with our movie. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven. Alright, so just real fast, this is another fast food, especially since I didn't have to make tortillas, which is always nice when that happens. I totally forgot those were even in there. They're at the bottom of one of the little snack drawer areas the kids have. I forgot about them. I don't even remember when we got them. Alright, so We're gonna turn this on. I need to wash my coffee. We had a little bit of pumpkin coffee while we were visiting for a little bit. So I don't have any lettuce right now, so I'm not gonna have lettuce on this, but that's all right. I should be getting lettuce before too long. So when I do this, I'm gonna like make my own little taco mix up real quick. I'm just gonna add some paprika, some salt. This is ground pork, so it needs a lot of salt. It just doesn't have flavor. I'm gonna add chili powder. I'm gonna add some onion powder, cumin, some garlic powder, and then of course I'm gonna add crushed Korean red pepper. Just because I love that stuff. Alright, and that's it. That's my taco meat. Brown this up real quick. I don't measure any of the seasonings. I should just put a bunch in a jar. So I have like a taco mix ready to go because I love to have taco meat ready to go. There are many times that is something that we even meal prep around here. Our pork is very lean, so I don't have to drain it or anything. It's just a very lean pork. I'm probably going to have to add a little water just to help get all this mixes going once I get it cooking. And then I have one of our tomatoes. I'm going to cut this up. I have some green onion. We're going to put that on as well. And we're gonna top them with some cheese and this taco meat. It will be delicious. Again, our ground pork fries up more like ground beef just because of the type of pork that we raise. I'm gonna go on and pull these out. I'm smelling these tortillas. Oh, they're definitely getting brown. Good. So I'm going to pull these out. Separate them up a little bit better now that they shrunk a little bit. Beautiful. Just got to finish up this meat. And this is ready to be assembled. My crew also likes some spicy banana peppers on there. Well, that's pretty good. So we're going to go on and turn this burner off. And I'm just going to place some on these. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to flip this one over. Because it is look it. These are going back in the oven, but not for very long at all. So glad it's the weekend. I get to sleep in some tomorrow. Then I'm just going to add a little cheese to the top of each. The meat that's on the tray, somebody will just scoop it up. Put it on there so I'm not worried about it. Half of them I'm going to put some tomatoes on. And I like the tomatoes to get cooked just a hair with it. I'll just probably do that many. I'm gonna do some green onions. Charles will not want the banana peppers on it, but Thea won't either, but all the girls will. So I'll just put a couple on. Okay, Charles said he still wasn't that hungry when he left. He had to run by Home Depot. He's crazy. Everybody else is definitely getting hungry. Alright, I'm going to throw this back into the oven to get the cheese melted, and then we'll be done. Lunch will be ready. Alright, well, we're waiting for that lunch to go. Somebody had asked of me, what do I like to do for fun? What makes me smile, makes me happy, like to do? I gotta tell you, I'm very, I guess, cliche, boring, lame. I like being with my family. That's what makes me happy. I love spending all my time with my family. My husband is truly my best friend. I know that sounds crazy. My children, you know, my girls, I have such a special relationship. My boys, I have a special relationship. I love being with my family. We have friends over here and there, but we really like to just be us and hang out. Now, if I'm going somewhere, I love the theater and not the movie theater. I love the theater. I love to go to musicals or the ballet or plays. Luckily, Luke loves all of that. So he is my partner in everything. I love to listen to classical music, very boring. I'm really kind of, I guess, a very boring person. When I do ever get a little tiny bit of time to myself, which isn't that often, I like to watch like murder mystery shows, crime TV. That's what I like to watch. But I usually, if I go up and I get under the covers and I'm in my bed and I'm gonna watch a show, I usually got about 5 minutes and then somebody comes in my room. Whether it be a kid or Charles jumps in bed and says, what are we doing? So I don't really even do a ton of that. In the morning when I'm drinking my coffee, sometimes I watch some crime TV. But a lot of times now I've been answering your guys' comments and stuff like that instead of even doing that. So yeah, that's it. That's what I like to do. I like to go see stuff. Like I love going to, but it's all with my family. I love to go to the museum. I love to go to the zoo. I love to go with my family to the water park when we go in the summer, to the amusement parks. Yeah, just that kind of stuff. So I think I'm a kind of boring person. I like spending time with my animals outside. I love my life and I'm very happy in my life, so I guess I just don't really feel the need to go places very much. But yeah. Alright, so this is going to be done and I will show you super fast, easy lunch. Alright, while that's finishing, I want to show you the easy dip that I make real quick for my tacos. Is I like to take a little bit of our plain yogurt. So it's just like plain Greek yogurt, except it's thinner than Greek. And a little bit of taco sauce. And mix it up and it becomes this yummy, just a yummy, spicy, almost like sour cream. Alright, so here's the finished product. You could also add some beans. A lot of times I'll have black beans or pinto beans as well. I just didn't feel like that today. And now I will show you. I will try to show you. I'm going to kind of break it in half. Break it in half more like a taco. Dip it in my dip. I love the dip. That was very good. Sorry, it's all over my face. Very good. We're gonna go eat lunch. We're hungry. All right, now lunch is done. We're gonna make my fast, easy brownies. These are so delicious. I got this, they're called jack-o'-lantern brownies because you're supposed to be able to cut them into little jack-o'-lantern shapes and put icing and stuff on them if you want. I got this recipe out of one of those cookbooks. You know, it used to be, they probably still have them in the checkout lanes in the grocery stores. There wasn't online stuff at that time, so you couldn't like just shop online or look up recipes online. You had to actually get the cookbooks and stuff or get a recipe from somebody. So I cut it out, and I don't know about you guys. This is my recipe binder. It's a mess. But I have notes. I always write notes on all my recipes.
Yes, I tell her, let me fix up your binder.
He just walked in the house. Yes, no, it is my binder.
She doesn't want it any other way.
No, I know where everything is in here. And this is my magical binder from all the years.
Oh, it's magical, all right.
From all the years.
You can find anything.
So I know. Eventually I'll have to put some kind of something together so the kids at least can have all my recipes when I'm gone. But anyway, I'm gonna make these yummy brownies really fast and easy. Mix it all together in a bowl, then pour it in a pan and pop it in the oven. It's really, really simple. No melting chocolates, no anything. So let's just start. All right, I am gonna make a double batch because I don't have a normal brownie pan. This is my smallest pan here, and I did already butter it. So I'm gonna double my batch. So I'm gonna use 3 cups of sugar. Let's see. So we're gonna start off with 3 cups of sugar. There's 1, 2, 3. The single batch will be what is in there for you in the recipes. All right, then I'm gonna do 1.5 cups of flour. I'm gonna do a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. It's kind of getting stuck down there. All right. Okay, I'm gonna add 6 eggs. Again, this is a double batch. One and a half cups of melted butter. I hope I got enough room in my bowl. A teaspoon of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of salt. That was a little bit less. And that is everything. And then this just, you stir it together. And it's really just that easy. It's not healthy, you guys. It is brownies. So I know there's a lot of sugar and all that going on. If you want to add vanilla, you can. The recipe calls for vanilla. I usually will add a little almond extract. I just didn't today. But if you want to add the vanilla, you can. I never really add vanilla to chocolate because you don't really taste it, and I feel like it just kind of wastes it. And since I use pure vanilla ground up, you know, vanilla bean powder. I don't like to waste it. Alright, now we're gonna pour it into our baking dish. Bye, baby. I thought you had to wear your hair up. Brownie, they're leaving. I think I got a chunk right here of cocoa powder. All right. And that's it. This is going to go in the oven. I could even put it in a bigger pan because I did a double batch, but that's all right. It'll be just thicker. This will bake at 350 degrees for about 18 to 22 minutes. All right, so here are the brownies. I did get distracted and got them a little extra done, but they will still taste delicious. Alright guys, so I was going to make pizza tonight, and I'm no longer going to do that because nobody's really all that hungry. We still got brownies and popcorn. I'm definitely getting the kids cold. Starting, my nose is running. I'm definitely getting it. Charles is starting to not feel great. So I'm going to go on and wrap it up for tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 8. Bye everybody, have a great day or night wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching.